Napier in Arizona. Hi, Peggy. Are you with us?
Yes, hi.
Oh,
How
good.
are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you coming on the call today, and I've been following your story and the story of your granddaughter now for a couple of weeks, and I just had to get you on because your story and her story is just quite dramatic. So share with us, if you will, first of all, what is your granddaughter's condition? What was she diagnosed with, and what's been going on now since she started on the Laminine?
Well, my granddaughter Isabella, we recently discovered has high-functioning autism, which is better known as Aspergers syndrome. And we didn't know that she had it. Ever since she was a little girl, she has had this problem with throwing outrageous, ridiculous temper tantrums to the point of being in a mall somewhere and her mom and dad have to carry her out kicking and screaming because she didn't get her way. So what ended up, and to everybody's who's an onlooker, people would think, oh my gosh, what a horrible child, she must be spoiled rotten. Well, that wasn't the case. She had Asperger's and we didn't know it. So we couldn't figure out for years, why did she do this? Because none of the other kids did. We just figured she was really just a stubborn, willful child and that, her behavior was somehow a result of some kind of something the parents hadn't done properly or, we just didn't know. Mm-hmm. And so we thought maybe she was, a little bit hyperactive, so we tried different things like different herbs. We tried like valerian root or something like that to see if it would help her calm down, and nothing worked. So she's 11 and a half right now, which is the age where little girls start to change and go through puberty, and she started to get ridiculously worse, if you can imagine. So she would do some really bad things, and she was getting violent. She was getting just out of control to the point where we finally said, okay, there's something wrong. We have to go to the doctor. We have to go to a psychiatrist or somebody and figure out why she's behaving this way, because she was doing things that were putting her siblings in danger. And so, and then we started doing some online research as well. And my daughter, her mom, was talking to other people, and she actually had a friend who has Asperger's syndrome. So then we started to get a clue, oh my gosh, maybe this is what Isabella has, because this is similar to what this other person had experienced. And so we started taking her through all of the, medical professionals. Actually, there's no physical test that you can do for anyone to tell if they have autism or Asperger's syndrome. It's all based on psychiatric evaluation and observation by people who are experts in behavior. Mm-hmm. So we took her to this psychologist at first, and then she was referred to psychiatrists and so on and so forth. So she saw about, 4 different behavior specialists, quote unquote, and every one of them said she has autistic behaviors. And so that's what we ended up discovering, was that she has Asperger's syndrome. So right after we discovered that Isabella had Asperger's syndrome, and at the same time I was going through some really bad stuff. I was so stressed out. I'm a 51-year-old grandmother, and my daughter just went through a divorce, and she has 5 kids. So I live in the house with her. And so if you can imagine being the second parent to your 5 grandkids, mm-hmm. And working 12 to 15 hours a day, and dealing with a divorce on top of all that, my daughter's divorce, that is. Mm-hmm. And I was stressed out. I mean, that's just an understatement. I couldn't sleep. So at night I would go to bed, but I couldn't go to sleep, so sometimes I would only get 2 or 3 hours of sleep. At the same time, my hormones were going wacky because of my age. And I would try to take naps during the day. Sometimes I couldn't. And then if I did take a nap during the day, I couldn't go to sleep at night. So it was like this, vicious cycle. So then I have this friend that I've only known basically through email and Facebook and stuff for a while, and he was the one who introduced me to try the product because I was really desperate for something to help me. And then when I talked to Michael, he told me that, or you may know him as Matthew, he told me that he had heard that this product had helped other people who had children with similar problems to Isabella, and that I should also try it with her. Mm-hmm. So I ordered it and started on it right away. And so after the first week and a half that I was taking it, the first week and a half I was just tired all the time. I just had this overwhelming fatigue. I just wanted to sleep, and I just didn't. I was just like, I was really dragging. But after the first week and a half, I started sleeping better. I wasn't as tired. I noticed that I personally, even if I only slept 4 hours, because there were still those nights when I wasn't sleeping that much, in the morning, even after having only slept 4 or 5 hours, I didn't have the overwhelming feeling of fatigue that made me feel as if I couldn't even function that day because I was so tired, which is the way it was before. I mean, I would just feel like I couldn't even function. I was just so tired from lack of sleep and stress that I was just not functioning well at all. And that's not good because I'm a nanny, so I had other kids to take care of on top of my grandkids.
Oh, my God.
So then I also started Isabella on the product, and she was sleeping a lot too. I noticed she was sleeping much better. She was feeling tired earlier, and she'd just go to bed and go to sleep. But consequently, now that I've been on it for close to 2 months, and Isabella as well. And for me, I just feel like 100% better. I just can't even. I sleep. I lay down, and I have a little TV in my room, and I turn on Netflix, and I have a show that I like to watch, so I turn on that show, and before it's 10 minutes into the show, I'm sleeping. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy because I used to be able to sit there and watch episode after episode and not be able to fall asleep, and I'd turn it off and then try to go to sleep, and then I couldn't go to sleep, so I'd turn it back on again. Not now. I mean, I'm out. 10 minutes after I lay down in the bed, I'm sleeping. I don't even know why I even bother turning the TV on anymore. And Isabella has, she does not have as many what we call meltdowns, and they're not as severe. Her meltdowns were so bad that her mom would have to hold her down until she stopped, because she would kick and throw things and scream and yell and hit the other children and throw things at them, and it was bad. Oh, and so now her meltdowns, she has them less frequently, and they're less severe. She still gets upset. She still gets anxious. That's part of the Aspergers syndrome, is that they get frustrated. They get anxious real easily, especially when they expect a certain thing to happen and it doesn't happen, and it causes them to go into this meltdown phase because, they like things to be the way they expect. It's a thing about order, and I don't completely understand it 100%, but I just know that even though Isabella still has Asperger's and she still has Asperger's-like behaviors, that she, when I confront her or her mother confronts her with a behavior, it's easier it's 20 times or 40 times easier. I mean, it's hard to even describe to get her to listen to reason, whereas before, there was just no reasoning with her when she was going into a meltdown phase. No amount of reasoning, no amount of talking, no amount of anything would work with her. No amount of, disciplinary actions about her behavior did any good. In fact, sometimes disciplinary measures caused the problems to be even more escalated. So now, I can say to her, Isabella, if you don't stop this behavior, then this is going to be the consequence. And she'll say, okay, and then she'll get mad, and she'll do her normal growling, we call it growling thing that she does, but then she'll walk away,
Or like a normal 11-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah, so she's more normal, like she still gets mad and says, but then she'll walk away, and then, she might come back to it later, because one of the things with Asperger's children or autistic children is that they stay on the subject. They don't know how to let it go. They'll keep pestering you over and over and over again. They're just focused on that one thing until they get it, because they're so, it's kind of something that has to do with them being within themselves. So they're so focused on their need that they can't let it go. So they keep going on and on and on and on. Well, and Isabella, now she'll go, oh, and then she'll walk away.
Well, wow. What a huge improvement, and it's got to be making the whole life within that household so much more joyful now than it was before.
It is. And the other thing I noticed, too, is that Isabella is more affectionate. She likes to be hugged more. She's happier. One of the things they say about Asperger's children is that one of the symptoms or things to look for is that they're always grumpy and unhappy. And Isabella's not always grumpy and unhappy anymore. She's happier. She feels better. She feels better. She behaves better. She communicates better. And, I just think it's going to keep improving.
You told me that you thought it would just keep getting better. I wanted to get, before we finish, I want you to say how much of the product Isabella is using now every day.
Okay, Isabella, right now she's only doing one a day. She was on two. She was taking one in the morning and one in the evening. But if she goes, sometimes I give her two together, because there was a couple of times where she missed the dose the day before, and I don't know if that's exactly how to do it, but if she misses a dose, then I give her two when she comes home, because she'll go to her dad's, and I don't